Hello everyone, this is Jotto, and welcome to the first in my top fives weekend. That's what I'm calling it. We're going with it. This was actually supposed to be over 2 weekends, and it was supposed to include the weekly show from last week, but couldn't do one because internet. So that's a thing. But anyway, so the two top fives I'll be doing today and tomorrow are the top five underrated and overrated GvG cards before the set came out. Because it's always nice to look back on how either wrong or right you were over various different cards, and I was wrong on quite a few of these actually, but on some of the others I'm incredibly smug because I was right and everyone else was wrong. So it does happen. I mean, we have these things from like Naxxramas, where I was completely wrong on Sludge Belcher, but completely right on Loatheb. So that's my example there. But yeah, there's tons of them in the set. The ones for the next weekly, which will be on Sunday, kind of weird how that works. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is 3 shows. Yeah. Sunday is going to be a meta game prediction recap thing for the next season of ranked play when that actually goes live. So I'm going to go over the top 5 decks that are coming into competitive play that you can try out. Then I'm going to do some random deck techs at the beginning of next week, and we'll see where that goes from there. But anyway, without further ado, let's get on to the top 5 completely overrated cards before the set came out list thing with honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention, now I just want to clarify something up before someone strangles me that I put Mech Warper up on the screen here. Overrated as in overrated compared to what they actually did. So Mech Warper is not on the list, he's an honorable mention. Why is he an honorable mention? Because he wasn't the best card in the set. No, I'm actually serious, that's the only reason he's on the list. Like, it's kind of funny, it's like he was overrated by comparison to what he actually did, but he's a very good card. So yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, Mech Warper makes it on the honorable mention side of things because he didn't completely flatten the metagame in every respect, even though he's part of the arguably the best deck and part of a couple other decks that are like tier 2. So yeah, moving on. Next card that was overrated, this is also the honorable mentions list. The actual top 5 is kind of hilarious. But yeah, Coghammer. Now, Coghammer was a card which I was not very fond of. Well, I mean, more accurately, I was okay with it. I just didn't think it was absolutely ridiculously good. And a lot of people thought it was like the best weapon ever made and was just absolutely insane. No, it's not. It just isn't. It is a very good weapon, but it's not always a 2 of in the decks it's supposed to be in because they clog pretty badly if you draw 2. And as a result, it makes it on here simply because of the sheer amount of hype it actually got. However, the reason it's on the honorable mentions list is because the card is still good. The card is still good. Don't shoot me for this. The card is still good, but like Mech Warper, could not live up to the hype, partially because the hype built up around it was impossible to live up to. So yeah, Coghammer, Mech Warper, honorable mentions, still very, very good cards, but they make it on this list because of the sheer amount of hype people built up around them. Now, moving on to the actual list, we have at number 5, Sneed's Old Shredder. I am very smug about this because Sneed's Old Shredder is an absolutely terrible card. It has some fringe playability in Paladin control decks and Priest control decks, but it's a bit like saying War Golem could fit in those decks and it'd be good. It's kind of like saying that, I mean, more like Boulder Fist Ogre, but it's just... Sneed's Old Shredder is not a good card. He has the kill speed of a Glacier, he's incredibly slow, and a lot of people think he's actually, or thought he was actually very good, thought past tense. And then they played with him and he was absolutely terrible. I actually did see some people craft this guy, and were not happy about crafting him in the end because he is not very good. So that's the thing with Sneed's Old Shredder. I did say this, and I had Dapper on for that set review, and we also had the predictions thing a while back, and it was just, he's not a good card. I didn't think he was good because he has the kill speed of an actual Glacier. I mean, you can walk past him with a Cairn. At that point, you know the card is way too slow, and he just never kills you. So every single time I've lost to Sneed Shredder, I would have lost to anything with 5 attack and a reasonable amount of health. So yeah, that's kind of a way of putting that. I mean, I would have lost to Boulderfist Ogre every single time I've lost to this guy because I would have never been able to kill it anyway. But anyway, moving on to number 4, Jeeves. Alright, this is an interesting history on this one because Jeeves was incredibly hyped up as the aggro draw engine for every aggro deck ever. Then I didn't think he was that good. Then Dapper convinced me that he might be good. So I tried him out, and I thought, yeah, he's good. For about 2 days. And after 2 days, I was thinking, no, he keeps losing me games. And I don't want to draw 2 ever, so you can't play 2. But then if you don't play 2, you don't draw him enough in those decks. But sometimes he completely messes you up, and he just costs too much mana. Other things, if you get him in your opening hand, it is miserable. So, Jeeves, he does have his place. I mean, I know one of the Tempo Storm guys has been putting him in the Shaman aggro deck. Yeah, I could see that. But I tried Jeeves in some ridiculously low curve decks. I tried him in a Druid mech deck with Innervate. And when I got him, he was super good. But when I didn't get him, the deck fell apart because it was designed to use Jeeves. And when I got 2, it was miserable because the other one stops you from multi-drawing. Where it's stuck in your hand, and then you have this Jeeves, it's only drawing up to 2 cards a turn. And then your opponent can draw 3 a turn. I don't know, it wasn't good. But Jeeves has his place, but definitely one of the more overrated cards coming into GvG. Now, the next 3 fit, I think the next 3 in a category of their own. They're all legendaries. 2 of them were very overhyped and turned out to be pretty bad. The third one was hyped up to be one of the best cards in the set. And I think some of you may know what that card is already. Alright, so the first one, top 3, is Malorne. Malorne is a terrible, 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 terrible card. Yes, it requires that many terribles. I don't know why there was hype around this guy. I really don't know. I never got it, but a lot of people thinking, yeah, this guy is absolutely amazing. The only thing good about Malorne is the art. Look at the golden art. It looks absolutely astounding. Very, very nice golden art. However, the card itself is absolutely useless. A lot of people are hyping up saying, it goes back into your deck, it's a relevant ability, and recycle is, by that same logic, not hard removal, which is something that I have disproven. Recycle is very, very good, and Malorne is very, very bad. Why is Malorne very, very bad? Because best case scenario, you play him as a 9/7 for 7, he gets Big Game Huntered. Then you play him again, and then they play the 3 mana removal or something, and the Big Game Hunter attack, and they kill the Malorne. Or you wait for 3 turns, and then you play your Malorne again. And then they kill it. And then you get it, oh my god, you get it again, and it's so much value, and then you just realize you spent 21 mana on stuff that doesn't actually do anything when you play it. Now, this is the best analogy when it comes to Malorne, and this is what I got most people with. Malorne is the equivalent of playing 2 War Golems in your deck. I'm actually serious. Because Malorne will die once, probably, and you might draw him again. But then you basically just play double War Golem, dies to Big Game Hunter, not much difference in the attack, let's be honest here. Same amount of health, same cost, only one of them you're twice as likely to draw the card you put in your deck. So, by that logic, double War Golem is better. Though you can draw 2, so they clog, so it balances out. However, the fact that you can compare double War Golem to a card is not a good thing. It just isn't. So the card turned out to be incredibly, miserably bad, and a lot of people hyped it up to be very, very good. So that was a bit of a slap in the face for all the people who actually ended up crafting Malorne. Now, the next card is one that I think some people might be a bit pissed off with me for this. Iron Juggernaut. Now, Iron Juggernaut was hyped up to be one of the best class legendaries. At which point I point and laugh at these people because it's comparing to Neptulon, Vojin, Trade Prince, Gallywix, which are all seeing play. Gallywix less so than the other 2, but they're all seeing play. Iron Juggernaut, he's not a Flame Leviathan or Malorne levels, but not the best of the bunch. Now, obviously I've lost to Iron Juggernaut a few times, mostly when played and I have 18 cards in my deck and I instantly draw the mine and pyroblast myself and kill myself. However, there are also times where it's just 6 mana 6/5. And the problem is that's most of the time. That is the problem with Iron Juggernaut. Most of the time he is a 6 mana 6/5. The other thing is that the only deck you really go to fatigue with regularly against, besides Handlock, which Iron Juggernaut is very good against, that's true, he's very, very good against Handlock, is Priest. And Iron Juggernaut is hopelessly bad against Priest because they just heal every single turn. And in the Warrior Mirror, it's also pretty bad because they just heal every turn. So Iron Juggernaut turned out to be only good against one control deck. Bit awkward. Against aggro, absolutely miserable. And Shield Maiden turned out to be one of those cards, which I was wrong about, yes, I admit. I was wrong about Shield Maiden. Guardian of Kings in Warrior works, although, I don't know, I still don't like Life Gain. But that's partially... Shield Maiden turned out to be quite good because there were so many aggro decks coming out. There was a very, very good mix of decks, and there were a lot more aggro decks, and I think we're used to, so the Life Gain turns out well. But then you play your Iron Juggernaut against this aggro deck, and he walks past it and kills you. It's like Loatheb. Loatheb is bad against aggro, and that is one of the single best creatures in the entire game. And it costs 1 less, has similar stat total, and a way more powerful effect, if you think about it. So Iron Juggernaut just doesn't fit anywhere. He's not very good. I've seen people play him to some sort of effect, but he was hyped up to be one of the best cards that you could get out of the set for Warrior, and he just wasn't. Now, the last card, moving on here, is going to be interesting, because this particular card is actually quite good. He just got completely outclassed. Troggzor. Troggzor the Earthinator. Now, this is an interesting story, because Troggzor the Earthinator, when a lot of pro players and semi-pro players were asked by Monk, who did his little power scaling compilation thing, said Troggzor, one of the best cards in the set. Absolutely insane. And as a result, everyone jumped on the bandwagon. Now, this was 2 days before the game actually got updated with GvG. But everyone jumped on the Troggzor's insane bandwagon for about a week. And Troggzor was absolutely insane. Then people realized that Dr. Boom is better. And Troggzor got promptly slapped out of the metagame. He got backhanded by Boom, just straight out of the metagame, never to be seen again. That's what basically happened to Troggzor here. Which, I mean, I find just kind of hilarious. But it turns out Boom is just way better than Troggzor. As it turns out, there's a second 7-mana legendary that you kind of want to play instead. And the only deck that could get away with Troggzor and Dr. Boom in the same deck also runs double Ancient of Lore, being Druid, and so you can't do that. I'm sure some people have tried, and it probably works out about half of the time. But yeah, Troggzor is one of those funny situations where he was so good for about a week, and then people realized Boom was insane, and then your opponent plays Boom, and you play Troggzor, and you're really unhappy because he eats your Troggzor without playing a single spell, and completely tempoing you out because he now has a 7/1 and 2 Boom bots, which will also probably kill 2 things or deal 7 damage to you or something. So yeah, Troggzor got so outclassed. It was kind of unfortunate because if he had been in Naxxramas, I mean obviously not with his name or anything, like different name. If he'd been in Naxxramas or base set, he would have been really, really good. But he wasn't. So he got completely outclassed. It's kind of amusing, but it's just how it turns out. And as a result, he does get the ticket for the most overrated card and overhyped card moving into GvG, as he just did not live up to the hype at all. And it is kind of funny, but that's pretty much it for the overhyped cards. I am going to do some underhyped cards in the next video, which will be tomorrow, and there's a couple interesting ones on there. Probably one that you can already figure out, considering I've just been talking about it with Troggzor. But yeah, thank you all for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you have any feedback, put it in the comment section below, or just want to yell at me for putting a card you like on this particular list. But as for now, this has been Jotto, signing off.